covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
New details, a shooting in broad daylight leads police to a teen suspect. What we've learned tonight. And
I feel like the justice hasn't been done. I feel like there's still something to do here, and I feel like this isn't gonna end.
a deadly stabbing, case closed, but still no closure for a Corning family. And new at 6, the votes are still being counted, but Shasta County may make history, electing a transgender woman to a local school board. But first, we have breaking news. A settlement agreement reached in the death of Tyler Rushing.
We first told you about the Chico officer-involved shooting back in March of 2017. And a warning, this video could be hard to watch for some. This is police body cam video and surveillance video. The Rushing family reached out to Action News Now, saying shortly after filing an appeal in motion for a second trial in October, the family signed a settlement agreement with the city of Chico to conclude the federal civil lawsuit. As part of the deal, the family says it dropped the appeal and motion. In exchange, Chico agreed to drop its claim that the family would pay for its legal fees.
The latest count for Gateway Unified School Board Trustee Area 3 has Bobby Simpson leading incumbent Elias Haynes 58 to 42%.
So if that holds and Simpson is indeed elected, she would be the first openly transgender person elected to public office in Shasta County. I spoke with Simpson about the significance of this race.
I think the main reason that I am ahead and so well known is because I have been going to the meeting since January of 23. And when I voice my opinions, I love to have discussions about whatever issues people want to talk about. I can always remain very civil and level-headed. I will listen to reason. I will listen to what other people have to say.
Shasta County in general has developed a national reputation for being very far right politically. And we all know that the implications, the perceptions of what that all means. It would seem that would mean that would be one of the last counties in the country that would be electing a transgender woman to public office. So what's your reaction to the fact that Shasta County is apparently very conservative, and yet here you are?
I think the very conservative people are some of the loudest voices that we have. Most of the people that I meet are very reasonable, more moderate. I do know people who are registered as Republican, but they're very accepting. I don't want that to be the focus of why I'm running for the school board, because there's definitely other issues.
Right.
I'm interested in the best education that the Gateway students can receive.
And if in the end this lead holds and you actually are elected to this office, how will you feel?
I'll be really excited. I'm very proud that I have so much acceptance that I do have this lead.
As we've reported, however, the ink spray problem with Shasta County ballots has slowed the process of counting. Election workers are duplicating each affected ballot to make sure that the votes are counted properly, so it will likely be at least another week before all the votes have been counted in Shasta County.
New details, police arrested a 16-year-old teen that they say fired shots at somebody in the Orville Walmart parking lot. We were there at the scene around 5 last night. Police say the teen shot at a man but missed, then drove off. They say surveillance footage and the license plate helped track down that underage suspect. They also arrested Teresa Alexander as an accessory. We're still working to learn what led up to the shooting. And it was a cold start to the day. In fact, this is video along my run this morning, and the leaves are really just starting to turn and start to look really beautiful out there, and it doesn't last long. I mean, pretty soon it'll be bare.
A little bit late this year because we had all that heat in October. I suppose that delayed that, but it's kind of cool. And yeah. I know you've got a new coat with an electric battery in it, right, to heat it up?
Nice, I love it, yep.
Howie, is she going to need to use that in the coming weeks?
I think with the rain tomorrow, I don't know how high she'll go hiking or elevate herself in the mountains here, because we're looking at a winter weather advisory with some snow, so that jacket would be great for that as well. Okay, so here's a look at our radar. Saw a little shadow on there. Don't know what that could, well, I do know what that could have been there. Okay, here's a look at our radar. So looks a lot cleaner than yesterday, but further off towards the northwest, have those storms that are going to start to drop down and bring rain to the coastal range and eventually across the area. Winds on the calm side, those will pick up when the storms move in. Temperatures a little bit cooler, but they shouldn't drop too bad overnight. But looking at winter weather advisories as these storms move into the area, and we'll talk more about them coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Howie.
Heads up if Highway 32 in northern Butte County is your normal commute. You're soon going to see a stoplight there at Meridian Road. And that's where we find Action News Now reporter Brianda Lemus live. Brianda, why is Caltrans adding the stoplight there?
Well, Haley, the stop sign is to help improve traffic. We know this is a busy area, especially as if you're heading onto Highway 32. A lot of these cars are coming at a high rate of speed, even though the speed limit here is at about 32 miles per hour. Now, this new traffic light is a way to help decrease the number of accidents that have happened here in the past 5 years. Caltrans says there have been 23 crashes, 3 being deadly, and another 3 deadly crashes between 2015 and 2017. Many of us are not big fans of sitting in construction traffic, but I spoke with Caltrans Public Information Officer Megan Reese about the good feedback she's gotten regarding the work.
Had a few callers just in the area, the residents, and I've not heard anything negative. They are very excited about the signal light going in, or the traffic signal going in. So there's that. I have spoken to, I would say, a handful, being 5 or 6 people in the area when the project started. So I do believe that they are excited about it. The community is.
They did have to slow down traffic just a little bit at one point as they were able to swing the traffic light across. Now, this shouldn't be affecting anyone's drive, as throughout the day today it was smooth driving. Now, there is 3 lights up, but we still need 1 more. And as all the lights go up, they are expected to turn on Tuesday, November 19th. In Butte County, Brianda Lemus for Action News Now.
All right, thanks, Brianda. Before we let you go, is the light, is that the entirety of the project, or is there more to it?
So they are going to add the stoplights. They're going to add more lighting. So as you can see, this is a pretty dark area. And they're also making the shoulders a little bit wider for cars, so when they make that turn.
All right, thanks, Brianda. And that work is going to continue on Gianella Road to Muir Road as well. Crews are going to install lighting, widen the shoulders like she mentioned, also upgrade bridge approaches and rehab the culverts there. And the project cost is going to be a little over $24.8 million. Expected to be ready just in time for the holidays.
Today marked the end to a year-long nightmare for the family of murdered 14-year-old Efrain Vargas. Action News Now was in court when a Tehama County judge sentenced Steele Stewart to the maximum sentence of 15 years, 8 months. Stewart stabbed Vargas and injured another at the quinceañera party in April of 2022 in Corning. Now, 2.5 years later, the family says the lifelong effects from that night will always remain even after sentencing.
I am still definitely going to be very sad about this. Nothing was done in the end, ultimately. Me personally, I feel like the justice hasn't been done, and I feel like this isn't going to end.
When we previously spoke with the family, they were still reeling from the news that Stewart made a deal with the DA's office to plead guilty in adult court in exchange for a reduced charge of voluntary manslaughter. The family says despite the case being closed, they will continue to advocate for stricter laws when it comes to crimes caused by minors.
We're learning more about why the city of Reading pulled funding from a transitional housing program called No Boundaries. The city manager says it was due to paperwork anomalies. Action News Now reporter Blake Mayfield is live there in Reading. So, Blake, what were some of those issues?
Haley, City Manager Barry Tippin says folks not being tracked on which encampments they came from, along with not knowing what rooms they're staying in here at the Sundial Lodge, left the city no choice but to terminate its contract with No Boundaries. No Boundaries is a nonprofit organization founded by its executive director, Christine Cage, in 2017. Tippin says the state paid grant money to No Boundaries to house the homeless living in 2 separate camps, the Breslauer and Masonic homeless encampments. Tippin says the city paid out nearly $2 million in grant money to No Boundaries since last year. Tippin says at the time, No Boundaries was the only program able to take people in for emergency shelter purposes. But back in June, Tippin says the city started noticing discrepancies with its contract. After requesting paperwork from Cage multiple times over the ensuing months, the city says it was unable to attain the info needed to keep that grant money coming in. That's when the city terminated its contract with No Boundaries, forcing residents it housed to move out.
This is taxpayer money, and it's very critical that they expend it in the proper way. And when grantors like us have a responsibility to follow through and make sure the grantees are doing what they're supposed to.
I was staying at the Sundial and abruptly was told that I had to leave because I didn't come from the specific homeless encampments they said they were receiving their funding from. And yeah, I had to leave the same day and was basically on the streets, off and on in the mission until being able to come here.
And I think that people need to be scanned a little more before they can take on a position like this. A lot of lives are at stake, and they just got tossed to the cold like garbage, like they were nothing.
Residents who were staying at the Sundial Lodge were transferred to the Roadway Inn on North Market Street last week. Multiple residents at the Roadway Inn tell me they paid their own way to stay at the Sundial Lodge because they were not from either encampment the grant money would cover. It's unclear what Executive Director Cage did with the extra money she received from residents. One resident says if 2 beds were occupied in the same room, Cage would request $1,500 a month from both residents. Tippin says Cage would cite reasons such as her computer not working and not having enough time to upload certain mandatory data about her residents as to why she couldn't provide the necessary paperwork to the city. Reading police are currently investigating this case, but didn't have an update when I asked them for one earlier today. I did reach out to Cage for comment on my story, but at this time, I'm still working for a response and have not heard back. Reporting live in Reading, I'm Blake Mayfield, Action News Now.
All right, thank you, Blake. The Shasta Community Health Center, along with the Good News Rescue Mission, helped relocate those No Boundaries guests. Folks are not staying at the mission itself, instead being relocated to the Roadway Inn for the time being.
A vice mayor position is left vacant. We show you the effort to fill it.
Plus,
you could be fined. You'll get letters saying that, look, we need you to cut your weeds down, that it's a fire hazard.
cracking down on yard management. Why the town of Paradise says it all comes down to fire prevention.